Hey, how you doing today? Thank you for coming to the website MoneyTreeDreams.com. And you're right now at my post, Living in a GPS Society. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the particular article because I was inspired when I read this quote. And the quote goes like this: if you arrive at your destination and you don't know how you got there, then you're still lost. You know, I wish I would have wrote it myself, but it was profound and insightful, and it had an impact on me. When I began to get into business, I wanted to learn how I got to my success. I just didn't want to become successful and didn't know how I got there. And I remember back in '92 when I first became an insurance salesman. I would have to go and drive out into the rural parts of Missouri to service the clients. And back then, we didn't have GPS. We had cell phones, but if you remember, back in '92, it seemed so far away. We actually had to use maps. We had to use maps to get back and forth to understand and get the directions to be able to get to our client's house. And when you live out there in those rural countries, cities and towns, you have a lot of rural route roads. They don't have names like we were accustomed in the city or closer to more urban areas. But back then I would have to either go to the Chamber of Commerce, or I had to find a convenience store that had a map, and I would have to get directions on how to get to a particular house. And I had to remember how I got there so I could remember how I got back or how to get back. And I really appreciate that time in life because I was able to develop a skill that a lot of people today don't have the luxury of doing. And I call it a luxury because if anything was to happen, I'll know how to respond to it instead of panicking. Well, it's the same way in building wealth. We have a lot of people that, what I call a linear thinkers. You know, go back and look at my posts. There are two types of thinkers: linear and lateral thinkers. And you know, linear thinkers are the individuals that pretty much are inside the box. They go from point A to point B, and that's how they live their lives. And they believe that, you know, get a good job, marry the best spouse, have the wonderful 2.5 children, and, you know, live in a beautiful house, pay off your mortgage, and, you know, invest in the company that you're working for and stay there until you retire. But they're great managers. Linear thinkers are. They're very good at managing. But the downside to linear thinkers is that if a problem happens, you know, they begin to lose their mind a little bit, and they don't know what to do. And they like to play it safe, where a lateral thinker thinks out the box and is not afraid to fail and not afraid to play it safe. But the downside to a lateral thinker is sometimes we stay a little bit too long into things and cause ourselves even more trouble. But when building wealth, you find out that you have to have an approach to how to gain that wealth and how to understand how you accumulated that wealth. If you do not know how you got it, if you lose it, you will not know how to get it back. I'm reminded of a story of a gentleman by the name of Will Rogers. He was an actor, comedian. He was in the rodeo, riding horses and stuff like that. But he said something years ago, and he gives a lot of quotes too. Google him and you'll find a lot of quotes that he says. He's almost like Yogi Berra. But he had lost his wealth the first time. He accumulated a lot of wealth and he lost it. And someone asked him, "What are you going to do?" He said, "Well, I'm going to go back and do what it was that got me there." He understood how he achieved his wealth. He knew how he got there. So when it was time to, when he lost it and it was time to come back, he knew how to make his way back. Living in the GPS society today has hindered a lot of people, in my opinion, when it comes to understanding how you got there. You know, it's so convenient. You know, with the birth of the smartphones, we're able to just plug in a number and we go, go, go. And it all started with the microwave. When we first got the microwave, it made life a whole lot simpler. And that's what the GPS does, the technology does. It makes life simpler. But sometimes it causes us to not understand how the process works. So I just want to encourage you to continue to read the post. Make a comment if you like this video, if you like the post, and or hit the like button. But also subscribe to my newsletter, and I'll send you out information about various different things. It send you some tips and some new opportunities that may come up, and also get us in the mindset of marketing and networking together, because some of you guys out there have some great ideas, and you're in some great companies that you want to share. And I'll send you an invite to my private group on Facebook where we can talk more in length and also give out some more golden nuggets. Also, register for my RSS feed. This is what it looks like if you're not familiar with an RSS feed. Register for it or subscribe to it so that every time I make a post, you'll get it. And you're able to just click on it, read it, or watch the video. Hey, again, my name is Terrence Whedon, and this is my website, moneytreedreams.com.